Welcome to Love and Money Secrets TV, and we are here. This is the first week of the Intuition Manifesto book launch. We started this on the 22nd of February at 2:22 p.m. from Cancun. I am now here in Southern California, and it's been a week since we launched the book, and so I want to thank everyone who has purchased the paperback and or the e-cover or both, and also the Creating Customers for Life book. I want to thank you for that. So today I want to share with you something that I hold dear to my heart. I'm going to read to you this excerpt which is basically a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave many years ago, which is called Man in the Arena. And I think it's very poignant because it goes hand in hand with the Intuition Manifesto in terms of getting in the game and not just sitting there as a bystander waiting for something elusive to happen. I always say, don't wait, create. The only thing that wait causes is if you continue waiting, you're just going to put on more weight, waiting for something to happen, and instead create. And we all have the ability to create. So let me read to you this wonderful excerpt. I'm sharing my screen with you here so that you can follow along with me. And this is basically, like I said, a speech that Theodore Roosevelt, former president of the United States, in 1910 gave this wonderful speech, which is my favorite speech in the world. So let me read this to you. April 23rd, 1910, Theodore Roosevelt gave what would become one of the most widely quoted speeches of his career. So the former president, who left in 1909, had spent a year hunting in Central Africa before embarking on a tour of Northern Africa and Europe in 1910, attending events and giving speeches in places like Cairo, Berlin, Naples, and Oxford. He stopped in Paris on April 23rd at 3 p.m. at the Sorbonne before a crowd that included, according to the Edmund Morris biography, Colonel Roosevelt, ministers in court dress, Army and Navy officers in full uniform, 900 students, and an audience of 2,000 ticket holders. Roosevelt delivered a speech called Citizenship in a Republic, which among some would come to be known as the Man in the Arena. So in addition to touching on his own family history, war, human and property rights, the responsibilities of citizenship, and France's falling birth rate, Roosevelt railed against cynics who looked down at men who were trying to make the world a better place. The poorest way to face life is to face it with a sneer, he said, a cynical habit of thought and speech, a readiness to criticize work which the critic himself never tries to perform, an intellectual aloofness which will not accept contact with life's realities. All these are marks not of superiority, but of weakness. Then he delivered an inspirational and impassioned message that drew huge applause. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So I will put the link of this Man in the Arena so that you can read it later. I think it's a wonderful speech to commit to memory. But in short, basically what this is talking about, and this is really at the crux of what the Intuition Manifesto is also about. The goal is not to sit as a bystander, as a spectator, like someone up in the bleachers in the nosebleed section, or even if you're at the 50-yard line watching all these football players play. Instead, get in the game, get on the greens, get on the 50-yard line, pick a yard line. It doesn't matter what it is. The thing is to, instead of waiting, you want to jump in and create. And it's not that difficult, my friends and gems. I'm here to tell you from my own personal experience, what I have learned is that you don't want to wait, you want to create, and all it takes is a decision. And so I have so many people that come to me on a daily basis that private message me, send me text messages, some personal friends that tell me, it's like, you know what, I don't even know what it is that I really want to do. Some of them are in transition. Some of them, as of the recording of this video, we are here sitting on March 1st, 2022. And, we are still dealing with this whole pandemic thing. And I don't even know if it's really, did they ever say that it's finally over with or not? I'm not even really sure, but a lot of people have experienced a lot of change. A lot of awareness of different circumstances, and also they've had an opportunity to really start to take inventory and reconcile what it is that they really do want and what it is that they don't want. And my dear friend Clint Baggett, brilliant genius, mystic, healer, and incredible software electronics engineer, who is the founder of the Human Mind Programming Grid word code, says that negative emotions, are you waiting for this? Negative emotions are an ask. Get out of the town. Shut the front door, as they say. I'm going to say it again. Negative emotions are an ask. So when you are feeling unhappy, your inner being is asking to be happy. If you're feeling frustrated and off-centered, your inner being, your soul, is yearning to feel centered and at peace. So again, I'm going to mention this the third time. My dear Clint, this is his phraseology. A negative emotion is an ask. So pay attention. That is valuable feedback. Don't be like I was. I used to be the girl who would depress, suppress, and repress those negative emotions. And those negative emotions, I talk about that in the Intuition Manifesto, how those negative emotions are valuable biofeedback. It's part of the GPS system to show you how to course correct and how to get faster to where it is that you want to go. But if you can't embrace those negative emotions, which are evidencing an ask of what it is that you truly want, then you're missing out. And so when you have a negative emotion, say, okay, I recognize this is a negative emotion. I notice that this is a negative thought. Change that negative thought from whatever the language in your mind is of that negative thought. Oh, my ex, blah, blah, blah. Or my boss never appreciates me. Or that coworker is such a jerk. Whatever that negative thought is and the feeling that inevitably is accompanied by it, pay attention to that and hit the pause button. Hit the pause button and say, change. Okay? So I don't want to be unappreciated, offended, sidelined, slighted, unacknowledged. I want the opposite. I want to be appreciated, supported, respected. I want to be acknowledged for the work that I do. I want my presence to be appreciated. So you identify now, you replace it with the thought of what it is that you do want. You replace it with the feeling of being loved, appreciated, and supported for the value that you bring to the table into your work environment. Perhaps it's in your business with your clients, or in your business with your business partners, if you have business partners, or maybe just with the clientele, prospects, as well as existing clients that you have currently are a cue for you. So that is the takeaway, that your negative emotions are an ask. Again, you can tune in, tab, and turn on to the Intuition Manifesto. I talk about how our thoughts, feeling, and emotions can be used to tune into your intuition. So the main thing is, as you are navigating and trying to move forward in life, and in 2022, the first almost 60 days are almost done. I say almost 60 because we had 31 days in January and only 28 in February. So we're almost at the 60-day mark, but really more importantly, the first 2 months of the year, it's already behind us. So you still have the balance of 2022. You still have 10 months. 10 is the number of completion. You can decide today. You may not know how. You may not have the nitty-gritty specifics. That doesn't matter. All you can decide is like, today I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose to, if you haven't been in a relationship, I'm going to choose to be in a relationship. If you have had a crummy car for the last 17 or 20 years or whatever length of time, and you decide, you know what, it's time for me to, in 2022, I'm going to figure out a way where I'm choosing today that I'm going to buy a new car. You may not have a specific date in mind. That doesn't matter. The point is you can choose today. Or if it's a house, you can choose. Maybe you've never owned a home. Maybe that's one of the dreams that you have unrealized, and you can realize. Pay attention to the words. We talk about that in the Intuition Manifesto. We have clues in our words. What does it mean to realize? Part of the meaning of the word to realize is to have an aha. When you have a realization about something, you have a greater awareness. But as you look at the word realize, it's to make something real and to put it in motion. It's realize. It's making something happen. So when you realize something, you're thinking about it in a certain way, which includes and infers possibility. And as you include and infer that possibility, then you have that positive emotion, that positive feeling that it is possible for you to make that thing, that wish fulfilled, that dream, that goal, that target. It can come into your reality, which means that it'll be a realization. You will be realizing it. So today is the youngest you will ever be. Today, please realize, recognize, have the awareness that in addition to today being the youngest that you'll ever be, that time, which is really life, the time that you have allotted, you're not getting any younger, that this is the rest of your life moving forward, and time is your most valuable, non-renewable asset. And only you can use your free will to choose how you're going to invest it. And part of your choice of how you're going to invest your time, like my choice today was to invest a little bit of my time to share with you different concepts, precepts, insights about the Intuition Manifesto, like what my friend, dear mystic, genius mystic healer Clint Baggett shared with us last week in the Human Mind Programming Grid Word Code. He shared with us how emotions are an ask. Negative emotions are an ask. So today, during this broadcast even, you can choose whatever it is that you're deciding. You may not know when or all the particulars, but that doesn't matter. Maybe your ask today, maybe your point of what it is that you want to create is to open your heart, which I would say to everyone, if you're not sure if your heart is open, watch my recent broadcast on how to know what a closed heart feels like. And if you are not feeling certain emotions, I talk about that at great length in that broadcast, then perhaps, and we talk about that also in the Intuition Manifesto. It's another precept in the Intuition Manifesto. So perhaps I say for everyone, if you're not sure if your heart is open, that is the place to start, because that is probably why you don't know what direction to go in. You don't know what it is that you love to do. You don't know what would light your fire. You don't know what is your life's passion and purpose. As you open your heart, that will be revealed, because now you are operating with an entirety of an emotions and not a limited aspect of emotions. Okay, my friend and gems? So at the very least, my wish for you, my desire for you, my dream for you, my goal, my timeline, my tools, and my tactic are going to be: the timeline is today. The tactic is choice. It's decision. Timelines, tools, tactic is to decide today. And if you do decide today to open your heart, because I got to tell you, that's a game changer. That is a huge manifestation for yourself, because we were all born with open hearts. Every single baby has an open heart. It's not until much later that then something happens in our life that causes us, where we use our free will and we choose to close our hearts to protect ourselves, to prevent further hurt. But you know what? The heart is the most resilient organ in the body. It truly is. It is the most powerful. It is called, in some people call it the second brain. I call the heart the first brain. This is your first brain. The second brain is your actual organ of the brain that's inside your skull. And in fact, your heart is actually active, and the neural connections of your heart is first created before your actual organ of the brain is created in a human embryo. So it is really your first brain. So when you get back to first base, to your first brain, to the center of creation, your center of magnification, it's a game changer. Because once you have an open heart, you can create healing, you can create money, you can create anything and everything you want. You can create a whole new crop of friends who absolutely love and adore you in ways that boggle your mind and touch your spirit. I got to tell you, because that's my experience. I've been very fortunate over my lifetime to have wonderful and great friends. The friends that surround me now on a day-to-day basis, I have so much truly unconditional love. We love, adore, respect, cherish each other in ways that I could not even imagine was even possible before. And it wasn't until I experienced it. It was absolutely just the most exquisite thing. And that I want that for you too. And so know that if people can hate for no apparent reason, then I can choose to love for no apparent reason. I can choose to hate a stranger for no apparent reason, or I can choose to love a stranger for no apparent reason. And so I choose love. I choose to love you unconditionally. One of the things, why I do what I do in all areas, from these broadcasts to having written the Intuition Manifesto book, to my private clients where I do clinical neurosomatic work with them to help them heal and resolve emotional and physical trauma, oftentimes with a lot of different neurological complications. Some of you have already seen those on my broadcast here on Love and Money Secrets TV. And then separate from that are my coherence healings, which are completely pro bono. There's no charge for that. And it's a gift. It's a paying it forward. It's actually not even a paying it forward, because it really is a gift to me when I'm able to do that for another human being. So that is my wish for you, that you would choose, that you would decide today to open your heart. Let today be the first day of the rest of your life. You can leave the old way that you were before. And the old way was you had a closed heart. For those of you, if you're a Christian, I'm going to say that you ask in Jesus' name that you do this. If you have an issue, it doesn't matter, because Jesus believes in you, just as God believes in you. If you have a hang up over the word God, I got to tell you, God doesn't really care about the labels. So, because he doesn't even identify you with your name, he identifies with your spirit. You are one with him and he is one with you. And so nothing can separate you from the energy that is known as the great I am, the light of the world, Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, Yeshua, Yahweh, El. There's so many different names for the word God, but the great infinite source intelligence, the light of the world. Just say in true honesty, you don't have to have anyone around you. You can say, okay, I don't know how to do this. I have no idea, but I know that this is good for me. That's where I was when I chose to open my heart. I literally sat in my bed, Indian style, lotus position, and I said, okay, I need to open my heart. I don't even know how to do this. When I chose to close my heart, I didn't know how to close my heart, but I did it. Same thing. Now I'm choosing to open my heart, and you're perhaps choosing to open your heart. So you just sit down and say, okay, here I am. I am using my free will to choose to open my heart. I know that it needs to be done. I know that it's good for me. I know that I'm going to feel much better, and I'm having the courage, which is feel the fear and doing it anyway. I'm going to have heart, which is part of the word courage. I'm going to have heart. I'm going to choose to do this, and I'm going to be open and receptive. I'm going to accept. I'm going to receive and embrace whatever insights, whatever intuition, whatever word of knowledge, whatever discernment comes to me, whatever signs, symbols, and synchronicity that pop into my experience. I'm going to allow that to be. So for the 22nd person who puts a comment in this YouTube video, I am going to gift them a free session with me where we are going to talk about how we'll go through a step-by-step process on how to open your heart. If you already have an open heart, then we can kick it up a notch. But if you're not even sure, we can go through a battery of questions, which won't take very long at all, and we will reveal and help you take that step where in that moment you will have an open heart. And the reality is that by watching this video, by the end of this video, again, it's just a choice. It's just a decision, okay? I just want you guys to feel this wonderful state of being where you're in a place of love all the time and you have magical things happening to you all the time. I always say magic is manifesting according to God's infinite creation, according to the great infinite creator. So thank you for tuning in, tapping in, turning on to Love and Money Secrets TV. Today's the 1st of March. It's been 1 week since we launched the Intuition Manifesto. Be sure to go to Amazon.com. You can just type Intuition Manifesto. We are now on the first page of Amazon. Yay! Don't even know how that happened, but it's very exciting, very cool. You can get the paperback, the e-back, the ebook, or the paperback. Boy, I'm talking in circles today. So you can get the paperback, the hardcover, or the ebook, okay? And by the 22nd of March, it is our goal, it is my heart's desire to be able to have the audio version of the book available to you too. Okay? Thank you, my friends and gems. As always, thank you for tuning in, tapping in, and turning on to Love and Money Secrets TV.